Today I will show you an action horror film from 2023 titled The Wrath of Becky. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Becky, a young teen girl, is adopted by a lovely Christian couple, Ted and Alice. She's playing the perfect girl part, perfectly. At the dinner she expresses her willingness to participate in church activities and help the community, even wanting to say grace before having dinner. She's just perfect. Just as Alice makes Becky feel safe and leaves the room, she drops the act. Changing the name above her bed to Bye, she runs away with her little puppy Diego. It's been 4 years since some people invaded her house and killed her father, looking for some key. In anger, she murdered them all. Becky is 16 now and has run away from 3 foster homes. She has done everything in her power to stay off the grid. She was doing just fine on her own, until Elena stumbled upon her while Becky was hitchhiking a year ago. Becky doesn't know much about Elena, as they rarely discuss their past, but they enjoy each other's company and vibe well together. Ever since Becky's mother passed away from illness and her father died, she has been unable to sleep at night. Becky works at a diner and today one of the customers calls her sweetheart. Irritated, she points out she has a name. What's more, he complains that the butter is not on the toast, making her snap and slice his throat. But she didn't actually do it, she really wanted to though. Watching the clock closely, her shift ends exactly at 3 p.m. and she's out of there. At home, Becky and Elena play Scrabble, and for the first time in a year, Becky wonders why Elena never asked about her past and simply took her in. Elena opens up about her own struggles, recounting how she became homeless at 15 years old and did whatever it took to survive. She feels a connection with Becky because of their shared experiences. She also catches Becky trying to cheat in the game. Meanwhile, the radio broadcasts announce that a group calling themselves the Noble Men will be making a rally at the town hall. They are known for their inclinations for violence. As Becky is working at the diner once again, 3 men enter and call her out on having a stripper name, ending it with a mom joke. It doesn't faze her in the slightest. Becky's imagination has been lively over the past couple of years, but this time, as she delivers the coffee to the douche customers, it's not just a figment of her imagination. With a smug smile, she walks away after accidentally burning one of them. Again it's 3 p.m. and her shift is over. The noble men though are not happy with her attitude and decide to follow her. In the evening, while keeping an eye on her mysterious key, Becky hears the sound of breaking glass. Quickly concealing the key, she goes to investigate. As she roams the empty house, nothing seems amiss until Anthony attacks her from behind. She manages to break free from his grasp and commands Diego to defend her, but DJ subdues him and aims a gun at Becky. Just then, the third Boy Scout, Sean, arrives, remarking on the unexpected turn of events. However, after Becky broke Anthony's nose, he is determined to kill her. Suddenly, Elena intervenes with a shotgun, but Anthony shows no intention of resolving things peacefully as he shoots her brains out. Enraged, Becky launches herself at Anthony, only to be knocked unconscious. Becky comes back to it in the morning. As she sees Elena's lifeless body on the ground, it reminds her of her father. What's worse, Diego is gone. Arriving at a lake house, Anthony makes sure no one speaks a word about what happened. After the rally tomorrow, they are out of this town. Meanwhile, Becky found Elena's jewelry box with memories stored in there. She never really knew Elena, but she had grown to love her. Everyone Becky has ever loved has been taken away from her. After burying Elena, she vows to get back her dog and kill the MFs who killed Elena. From the shed, she gets all necessary supplies. That includes a bear spray and a few of her traps outside. Becky's combat clothes finally will come in handy. When Becky listened to the noble men talk in the diner, she remembers them mentioning someone by the name of Daryl. There are only 2 Daryls in town and this is the number 1. Clearly this wasn't the man they were talking about. Second one lives at Colony Road. Something tells her this is the one she's looking for. Inside, Daryl is offering a prayer before partaking of the meal prepared by Twig. It's worth noting that Twig is one of the most prominent misogynists I've ever seen. But the trio still laugh off his comments. Daryl notices that Sean is acting weirdly, not touching his food and wonders why their dog is locked in a cage, but somehow Daryl believes their half-assed excuses. Becky can barely hold herself back as they laugh at Diego. She finds an unlocked window and silently climbs in, finding a mannequin with Senator Hernandez's name on it. She finds the round table filled with plans to kill the senator and takes pictures. Meanwhile, Sean excuses himself and goes to vomit. The events from yesterday really weigh heavily on him. Daryl confronts him as he leaves the bathroom and invites to show him something. Daryl brings him to the office where Becky is at and asks him basic questions, such as when he joined the noble men, etc., explaining how important Sean is to their cause. Meanwhile, Becky is under the sofa, listening in. Daryl shows Sean some incredible information he has on a thumb drive, explaining how many noble men are out there. He starts to tell Sean a story about his time serving in Iraq, recounting the harrowing experience of having to suffocate his own comrade to ensure their survival. His squad kept silent about it, believing it was for the greater good. Daryl attributes this story to the current actions of the noble men, emphasizing the importance of teamwork and the necessity to eliminate weak links. He subtly questions whether Sean might be considered such a weak link. Barely maintaining his composure, Sean swears that he's all in for the noble men. That's the answer Daryl wanted to hear. After Sean leaves, Daryl notices the open window. After closing it, he feels that something is amiss. Anthony calls him from the kitchen, prompting him to leave. Becky seizes the opportunity to investigate further. Upon examining the information on the thumb drive, she discovers thousands of people who are followers of the noble men. It's at that moment she resolves to take action and rid the world of everyone on that list. Snatching the drive, she runs to the barn, arming herself with a sickle. Okay, forget the sickle. Upstairs she finds a whole armory, filled with all her heart could desire. As the men inside toast to freedom, a doorbell catches their attention. Stepping outside, Daryl doesn't see anyone, when he notices a phone ringing on his doorstep. Walking back inside, he tells the others that someone named Becky is calling him. Sean immediately sells the group out, but DJ and Anthony still try to cover it up, explaining that they stole her dog, nothing more. Daryl picks up the call, listening as Becky shares an unsettling tale about being their worst nightmare. DJ finds it amusing, but tension grips the room. An argument ensues about the authenticity of Becky's message, but Daryl quickly silences everyone, demanding they return Diego to her. Though Anthony agrees, Daryl senses there's more to the situation than meets the eye. Outside, Anthony calls out to her and Becky lets him know where she is. She leads him deeper in the woods until he holds her at gunpoint. Anthony doesn't want Daryl to hear the gunshot, opting to kill her silently and falls for one of Becky's traps. Becky then picks up his gun, but she doesn't want others to hear the gunshot either. Inside, the guys are enjoying some music, unaware of Becky's stealthy approach. Using duct tape and a red string, she devises a makeshift trap, knocking on the door. When Daryl opens it, the string removes the pin from the grenade, resulting in Anthony's head going boom. The group suddenly come to terms with the seriousness of the situation. They rush inside and assess their options. Twig's suggestion to call the cops is swiftly dismissed. They possess enough weaponry in the barn to initiate an insurrection. Daryl grabs a gun and demands that Sean and DJ start talking. Sean explains that they killed Elena and stole the girl's dog, which Daryl finds unbelievable that a little girl is capable of this. Still, what catches Sean's attention is the use of the word insurrection. Sean believed it was just a rally, not a shootout against the government. Sean had enough lies and deception. He's out. Daryl puts down the gun and attempts to convince Sean to stay the night. Maybe he will reconsider, but this only sends him into a tantrum, which prompts Daryl to shut him up for good. Without hesitation, DJ swears that he's 100% a follower of noble men cause and is tasked with moving the body. Suddenly the phone rings. Becky has her eyes on the house. Daryl still suggests they can resolve things peacefully, but they are way past that. As Becky aims the crossbow at the house, she explains that she has all the evidence against Daryl and his little scheme on her phone, suggesting they keep her dog fed. Twig had enough. He grabs the shotgun and goes outside. Daryl swears to kill Becky, but then she notes he would never find the thumb drive she stole. Also, his friend on the dock could use some help. Becky pierces him with an arrow. Inside, while Twig is whining, DJ gets on the ground and Daryl removes the arrow. Twig furiously goes out to search for Becky, but she lets them know where she is. She swiftly starts running away to the barn and Twig is right behind her. Back at the house, Daryl's fury intensifies as he commands DJ to bring Becky to him alive. She possesses the thumb drive. DJ promises to do so, but the moment he's released, he dashes to the car and speeds away. Meanwhile, at the barn, Twig believes he has Becky cornered, but she surprises him by hurling a smoke grenade, throwing him into disarray. As Twig frantically fires off rounds, he runs out of ammo. Twig crawls out of the barn, with Becky right behind him, menacingly approaching him. That is, she wished she could, but couldn't find the keys. Instead, she emerges wielding a machete, about to strike him down. Twig pleads for his life, revealing he has a wife and a child, and he doesn't harbor genuine hate towards women. Becky hesitates until she learns that the child's name is Adolf. She just cuts him down. Suddenly Becky's shot with a tranquilizer and passes out. Becky wakes up the next day and struggles to get out of her bindings, but it's useless. Daryl is an actual Boy Scout. Daryl found her backpack, mentioning that she came prepared. He also found Becky's key. In a short moment he figured out a puzzle behind it, the coordinates. That's when Daryl introduces the mastermind behind the noble men, someone Becky has already met. His mother, Daryl. All Daryl wants to know is where the thumb drive is, but Becky acknowledges that this information is the only reason she's still alive. Daryl says it's far more possible Becky leaves here alive if she gives up the location of the drive, otherwise she will lose her patience. This prompts Becky to spit in the woman's face. Daryl also attempts to recruit Becky to their cause, but she passes. With this, the woman tells her son to use Diego. Seeing Daryl squeeze Diego's head makes Becky struggle even more, but in the end she agrees to tell them where the drive is, but under one condition. As Daryl puts Diego back in the cage, she wants them to promise to go straight to hell after she kills them. Becky had untied herself. She kicks Daryl away and sprays him with the nearby bear spray. This prompts him to run away, so the mom Daryl grabs her gun and holds Becky at gunpoint. Becky still understands that they need her alive, so the mom turns to Diego, prompting Becky to ninja knife her in the head. Becky runs out just as Daryl returns. Seeing his mother dead, he has had enough of games. Becky runs through the field and woods, and Daryl is not far behind her, opening fire on her, but missing all the shots until he's out of ammo. Seeing the X marks the tree, Becky jumps and turns to Daryl, who steps into a bear trap. Thrice. Daryl's last words to Becky are well done, as he succumbs to his injuries. Becky retrieves her father's key and rushes to free Diego from the cage, finally reuniting with her boy. But the old Daryl just can't give up, though the knife really did a number on her. Becky sends Diego to deal with her. 24 hours later, Becky is in the CIA office, where a woman explains that the drive she handed to them contains names of the members of one of the most dangerous terrorist orgs in the US. She praises Becky for single-handedly dealing with the leader of this organization. Then she offers Becky to become a recruit for the CIA, and finally reveals to Becky what her father's key actually belongs to. And about DJ, he stopped at the side of the road, having some technical difficulties with his car, when a police car approached him slowly. Under a heavy book, he grabs his gun as he notices in his rear mirror that it's Becky, holding a bazooka. She blasts him away. Smug little girl. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this.